So for this video, I'm going to talk about an interesting topic, which is different apps you can have on your phone to improve your Uber and Lyft riding experience. Now, I'm always huge, as you've probably seen with all my videos, in terms of different techniques to make more money, techniques to just improve your Lyft and Uber rating, techniques to maybe get more tips, whatever the case is. So this video, I'm going to talk about 5 apps that I think by having on your phone can basically increase your Lyft and Uber experience as a driver and also increase the passenger experience, both the ratings and the tips you may receive. So let's begin. Number 1 is Google Maps or Waze. This should go without saying. Download a third-party GPS. Do not use the Apple GPS, and please, above anything, do not use the Uber GPS. That is hands on the worst GPS on the face of the planet. So the first app you should download, and you should have it on your phone anyway if you have a phone in general, is Google Maps or Waze. Either one works. I've linked this below to a video I did about what is the best GPS for Uber. I personally prefer Google Maps, but if you prefer Waze, that's okay. But either way, have either Google Maps or Waze. 2 is Gas Guru. This is an awesome app that, like, say if obviously you need gas, that's the name of it. You open up the app and it shows you the location and it shows a certain mile radius. You can basically set it how you want it, and it shows you the cheapest gas in your area. This can be very, very helpful, especially obviously if you're driving a lot, you're gonna be getting gas a lot. And yeah, maybe you'll be like, oh, this one here is 5 cents cheaper than this one here, but hey, that's gonna add up over time. And in addition, obviously keep in mind when using this app, if you're like say right here, there's one here that's a certain amount, let's say $3, and the one all over here is $2.90, you're probably better off getting one closest to you. And that obviously kind of goes without saying, but this is a great app in terms of if you're within a certain radius and there's a bunch of different gas stations that are pretty close to each other. It's a great way to save money on gas, especially because that adds up over time. Number 3 is Google Translate. Now, I mentioned this for the first time in a video I did about 7 interesting things I learned after driving Lyft and Uber for a year. And I've linked this below that video if you want to check it out. And one big thing is that a lot of foreign people take Lyft and Uber. This may be because it is Boston, or I was driving Boston at the time. I'm in LA now, but there's a lot of foreign people who take it. It makes sense. If you go to a place you've never been to, Uber's worldwide, I believe Lyft is too. And so you can take that app, you can see on the app where they are, you can see the GPS, they're not gonna screw you over like a taxi when you take a different route. So a lot of foreign people take Lyft and Uber, and a lot of times I've had somebody who has not only had maybe broken English, but doesn't speak English at all, except for like, hi, how are you? Like they'll just be like, hey, English bad, I'm sorry, and that's it, and that's basically all they can say. So Google Translate is a great app where I could say something like, hey, how are you? And it'll translate to any particular language that I want. They have tons of languages, and it can understand it. So for example, if I have someone in the car who doesn't speak English, but they speak French, and they sit down, they're like, oh, bonjour, comment ça va? It will say, hey, how are you? So that's a great app to have just because it also improves customer experience. They're like, oh, wow, I'm able to talk to them, and that also makes it a lot easier to them to do directions, because sometimes, especially if they're not from the area, they don't really know where they're going, where they should be dropped off. They maybe just have an address. They're at first at some street corner and then some weird thing. So this makes the conversation a lot easier and a lot more pleasant. Number 4, and these next 2 I'm going to mention are not, you don't have to have them. I feel like the first 3 are more important, but these next first will make it easier. Number 4 is have Pandora. Obviously, all these apps are free, and with Pandora it's free as well. It's basically a free music station that allows you to change between different channels, and you can type in genres like dance music or rock music or pop or ska or any basic subsect of any music that you want. The reason why I like Pandora is because it's very easy to use. The functionality is very quick. In addition, you could change it up. So for example, let's say you want to do a marathon night where you do from 5 p.m. all the way to 3 a.m. on, like, say, Friday night. From 5 to, like, say, 8 p.m., you could have pop and just play top 40 basically on Pandora. Right when 8 or 9 o'clock p.m. turns around, people are starting to pregame and go out and go to clubs and bars and everything. You just switch on dance music or electronic music, whatever you want. I'm also a DJ music producer, as most people know, and I'm actually now an official artist on Pandora. So I've linked this below if you want to add me on Pandora as an official artist as the Vachero station. And my station basically is a lot of electronic music, which would be good for nights, But Pandora is a free app that's awesome to use just because you can do so many different genres. Lastly, number 5 is the podcast app. Now, if you have an iPhone, this app automatically comes with your phone. If you have an Android, I'm not sure exactly how you download it, but obviously I'm pretty sure you can listen to podcasts anyway. And the reason why I mention this as number 5 is I've linked this below to a video I did where we talk about 7 things to do in between Lyft and Uber rides. Because if you think about it, after you drop somebody off, it might take you 5 minutes to get a new ride, and then drive 10 minutes, so that's a whole 15-minute chunk that you're just sitting in your car doing nothing. And after doing this for so long, I was like, you know what? I want to figure out a way to be kind of productive in that 15 minutes, or at least get something out of it. And the reason why I love podcasts is that they're so easy to use. They're very informational about like health or fitness or science or psychology, basically some way to learn something new. And so there's a put on a podcast, I've linked this below, do my 5 favorite podcasts, they're all awesome. throw in a podcast. When I get close to picking that person up, I'll pause it, pick that person up, drop them off, whatever the case is, then kind of restart it. It can get a bit annoying if, like, say I'm listening to a podcast, something really interesting comes up, or they bring up a really interesting point, and I kind of have to wait to hear until after I drop the person off. But it's still one of the best ways I've found to kind of still be productive in that window. And obviously, in that video, we talk about other techniques. But I find, lastly, for this fifth app that I want to mention, the podcast app is just a great way for free content that you can still learn something new while still traveling around and making money. But hope you guys like the video about these 5, different apps that I mentioned. Obviously, they're all free to use, which is pretty awesome, and hope they make it easier for you to make more money and to get better ratings in Lyft and Uber. And lastly, like all my other videos, if you have any questions about anything I talked about, feel free to ask.